Well, Tuesday wrestling just happened. Today is on a Wednesday, so we're gonna continue on with this. Also gonna throw in WWE Superstar Spectacle, which is the first show they're gonna do to introduce wrestlers coming from India. All of that will be reviewed and discussed about and talked on this episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling from AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, matches, wrestlers, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. Before I move forward, I want to apologize to people. I normally would do this video for Tuesday Wrestling at night. Reason behind that, I got sick on a Tuesday morning. My body was aching. I had a headache and was coughing. No, it's not the coronavirus, in case you guys are wondering. I looked up the symptoms. I'm okay. Basically, it was, I think it's like during that time, winter, my body just starts to feel this way. But yeah, I'm okay. Don't worry about it. Don't show any of the symptoms. I've been keeping an eye on that for a while, but everything's good. But however, that does not stop me from doing what I like doing, is talk and reviewing all about pro wrestling from all the promotions I like watching. So let's move on with the first show that I feel like, let's throw in the new thing first, which is WWE Superstar Spectacle. Alright, so you may have heard the stories, reports coming in that WWE are planning to expand their NXT brand all the way to India. Now, India has been one of the few locations that have been mentioned about expanding there. I know some of you are like saying, but why not about Japan or Mexico? Well, that's a different situation for another time. But right now, India is one of those few places. So they introduce wrestlers who are in fact all from India. Well, they paired them up or booked them. So, however, let's go with the first match. That basically, you guys get the right idea. The first match was the Prince, the NXT champion Finn Balor, taking on this guy named Guru Raj. Now, I don't know who he is, but this guy Guru Raj, I have to say, he's very impressive. Now, he reminds me a little bit of someone, I just don't know who. But one thing I like about when they introduce this guy, it's like many of these wrestlers coming from India, they are fighting for their families. That kind of is not ironic, but interesting, because we saw the same thing in the movie, with Paige fighting with my family. But it's a very interesting thing to watch. I really, really enjoyed this match because I feel this guy Guru Raj could be a superstar in the making, coming from India. I'm like, impressive. I would like to see him down the line. Even put him on NXT if you can. But however, he was still no match for Finn Balor. So Finn Balor won this match. Now the next match right here, this one I have to say is one of my one of three favorite matches of that night. It's Rey Mysterio teaming up with Ricochet and two gigantic guys from India, Hindu guys. And the first guy, his name is Dilsher Shanky and Giant Sangir. Now, these two individuals, if you may or may not know, they were trained by none other than former WWE champion and one of the national heroes in pro wrestling, the Great Khali. So yes, he trained them, if you can believe that. But these guys are so huge. And their opponents was none other than Dolph Ziggler, King Corbin, Cesaro, and the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, this match was unbelievable. Like I said, this is one of three of my favorite matches of the night. But I'll tell you one thing that really surprised me. There was a moment Ricochet tells what's his name, Giant Sangir, to pick him up and toss him over the ring on top of what's his name, Shinsuke, Dolph Ziggler, and King Corbin. I went, whoa! But if you look at the face of Ricochet, he looks like he's high enough, to be tossed at. I was like, wow. But of course, what's his name, Dilshear Shanky had Cesaro, and he lined them up for none other than 619 himself, Rey Mysterio, applying the 619. But the best part, he goes on top of the shoulders of Dilshear and jump right on top of him, and then he put his foot right on the back of Rey Mysterio to ensure they get the win. So that's one of the best matches I've seen. I would love to see these two guys, Dilshear Shanky and Giant Sangir. I'm like, wow. I think I like what I'm seeing so far with these guys. Now the next match we had AJ Styles along with the Behemoth Homos versus Jeet Rama. Now Jeet Rama, he is a very interesting wrestler from what I heard. He is a wrestler in his own right, but not like the type of wrestling you know of. This is a different type of wrestling coming from India. He's been a 2-time champion, a national champion. So, and he reminds me a bit of Kurt Angle. He has like almost the same type of gear that Kurt Angle, just wearing the gear that he always wears with the knee pads and wrestling shoes. I feel like we're looking at the Hindu version of Kurt Angle, but there's nothing wrong with that. But he was very impressive, I have to say that. And no, this is not one of my one of the 3 favorites. It was an okay match, but the guy, Jeet, he is good. I have to say he is very impressive too. But however, he was still no match for the phenomenal AJ Styles. Now, the best thing that happened. Now, I know some of you ask yourselves, what is it about India? Why did it? I mean, look, their culture is fascinating. If you guys didn't, one thing they came out. Here comes the New Day, Woods and Big E coming out, and then here comes the Street Profits introducing like this dance group or whatever they are coming from India, or they're Indian Americans or guys from India who are living in the United States doing these type of form. The performance was unbelievable. I liked it. It was so great to see this happen. I'm like, you'd be amazed about the Hindu culture if you guys took time to look it up, because I heard things about India like, wow, like what a fantastic place it is. But the music, the performance was unbelievable. I'd say I like it. Now the next match is a women's tag team match. We have Charlotte Flair teaming up with this Indian American Serena Sadhu. Now, Serena Sadhu, from what they say, she is a Indian American, but she has family living in India. It's basically, she spends her summers at her grandparents' house and cousins and all that. She's very interesting, even though they're in an interview, in exclusive content they posted out on their YouTube channel. She speaks very fluent in English, if that's what you're wondering. But their opponents is none other than the Queen of Hearts, Natalya, and of course the so-called other role model, Bayley. Now, Serena, I have to say, she really does have this great way of entrance, the way I've seen her in. I have to say, she's amazing. But teaming up with Charlotte, that's like a big bonus. From what I heard, Serena was trained by none other than Bayley, so this has become a mentor versus student type of thing. But however, I like the teamwork, how Charlotte gave Serena the chance to pick up the victory against pinning Natalya. So basically, it was a good match. Now the next match, before we get to the next match, we had the surprise appearance of the dirtiest player in the game, Ric Flair. You know how he is. But all of a sudden, he was interrupted by none other than the modern day Maharaja and Jinder Mahal, who is back after being injured. He is reunited with the Bollywood boys. And then all of a sudden, he gets interrupted by Drew McIntyre, who tells him that You don't interrupt the Ric Flair. So he tells him, you interrupt me. Well, you interrupt Flair. I thought that was a good comeback. So Drew McIntyre actually teamed up with two other giants in this share, Rinku and Saurav. I seen these guys on NXT. I'm not sure if they're still in NXT, but great match with all of these guys. I was like, wow. And the way it ended was allowing Indus to pick up the victory. So I have to say, but they even saying that they're happy that the Republic of India are now involved with WWE. Basically, they're exploiting. Now, I'm going to give you guys a short final thoughts on right now. To give you guys what I think. I have to say, look, some of you are saying at this point, how come India is becoming popular in wrestling? I thought mostly it's in the United States, Japan, Mexico. To be honest with you guys, it's growing in different ways. Now, some of you guys may or may not know, I'm half Costa Rican, and the other half is Mexican. Now, a couple years ago, I found out that there's a wrestling promotion out of Costa Rica, and I'm like, what? You got to be kidding me. So I looked it up, and it's called the Costa Rican Wrestling Embassy, and I was like impressed. Even wrestlers that I know, non-WWE wrestlers like Zack Sabre Jr., Cody, Marty Scurll, the Bucks, they were all involved in this, and it shows right there with the way India has grown. You look at wrestlers like the Great Khali and Jinder Mahal. These are two individuals that broke the barrier to introduce wrestling in India. Now, you guys saying, but they wouldn't like it because it's all Americanized. Look, it doesn't matter if it's Americanized or not. The fact is, the wrestling world is growing no matter where it goes, no matter what country you're in. But that's how it goes. And I have to say, I have no problem with WWE having an NXT brand in India. Reason is, I know that some of you are saying, but what about Japan and Mexico? Well, Japan has no interest in every aspect due to the fact that they have been paying attention to what's going on with the UK, where NXT UK has been disrupting the entire wrestling business in the UK. Mexico doesn't want nothing to do with them. So that sort of thing is like that. But India, I have no problem. I know there's some true diehard wrestling fans would never want that to happen in Mexico or in Japan. But India, I'm okay with it. There's no doubt about that. So I hope you guys enjoyed me reviewing this amazing show. Let's go with AEW Dark. Okay, so we got AEW Dark. So they had some really good matches, but there are some very best moments I did enjoy. Now, first match of the night was Fuego del Sol taking on the best man, Miro. And of course, he had Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, along with Charles Taylor. Now, I figured Miro was going to win, but it didn't take that long. Because I thought in the back of my mind, oh, Miro's going to squash him easily. But no, Fuego put up a hell of a fight. But this was mentioned on Being the Elite this past Monday, where he was going to face Miro, because Fuego wants to challenge QT to put up in the Tornado DDT. So, I don't know when that happened, but Miro won this match anyway. Hope Fuego gets his shot against QT Marshall. Next match, we had a tag team. We have Lee Johnson, Aaron Solo taking on Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus, along with Marco Stunt. Good match to watch. I have to say, I can't wait for but it was a good match. I'm not gonna lie, but of course, it was Jurassic Experience that won this match. Sorry guys, I'm still getting a little sicker, but yeah. Now the next match we have TNT, Terrence and Terrell Hughes, the sons of Devon Dudley, taking on SCU. Now this was also a good match too. I feel like they could have. This was a good opportunity for these two guys to face off a veteran team like SCU. But yeah, sorry. But it was a good match. I'm not gonna lie, not the best one, but a good match. So SCU won this one. Then we got M'Baku teaming with Casey Navarro taking on the Butcher and the Blade. I can tell you they were really taken out dirtily, but they won the match. Baron Black taking on Ray Phoenix. Now, I don't know how Ray Phoenix is going to be without his brother, but he seems like he was not in a good mood. But he won his match. He always does. I'm like, wow, he still impresses the hell out of me, always. The next one, we have Kylan King taking on Shauna. Now, Shauna has this new energy I've always been noticing. It's still unclear whether she's turning heel or what the scenario is. But, however, she has continued to prove that she is adapting more and more and more into being who she is. Not to mention, I do like her gear where she dresses up in Dragon Ball Z. Now, the next match, well, Shauna won this one, my bad. The next one is Brooke Havoc versus Dr. Britt Baker. Now, Brooke Havoc is one of the students coming out of the Nightmare Factory. This was her first match in AEW. I'm not sure if she showed up in the Nightmare Factory showcase. Basically, it was. I always knew. I don't know exactly who she is that much. I can't remember if she was on the showcase or not, but I gotta review that again. But of course, Britt Baker, you know her. She put her in that submission move, all that. So the thing is, Britt Baker will be facing Shauna today on Dynamite. I can't wait to see how this happens. Next match, it's what's his name? Vert Vixen taking on Abaddon. Well, I don't need to tell you much. Abaddon won, as always, with her ways. Oh, yeah. She scares the hell out of me still. Now we got the Pretty Peter provocation pageant. Peter Avalon and Lee Johnson. So apparently there was we had Aubrey Edwards, Brandy Rhodes, and Jerry Lynn doing this, being the judges. So Lee Johnson won because Peter Avalon messed up. But Lee Johnson was attacked by Cesar Bononi. It's still unclear why he attacked him. So hopefully in the coming weeks with AEW Dark, we may get our answers, but we'll see. Next match, we have Ryzen and Mike Vernon taking on Santana and Ortiz. Now, however, this match went on quick. Santana and Ortiz are not in a good mood since they lost in their match in the Inner Circle Tag Team Challenge match, which was so... I think many fans were going for Santana and Ortiz. Me, I was thinking about Sammy and Hager. I don't know why, but yeah. But Santana and Ortiz are now not in a good mood the way they finished this match quickly. The next match, we have this new person named Daviani taking on Tay Conti. And on commentary, we have none other than the leader of the Dark Order, Brody Lee Jr., better known as -1. But man, No, my bad. He wasn't on commentary, but he was there. That was the next match. But Tay Conti took a while to take on I can't pronounce her name right. Sorry, because I'm still a little sick. But it was an interesting match. Not the best one, but I feel Tay Conti should have a much better competition than that. Now, the next match is Ray J taking on 10. Now, this is where -1 was, in fact, doing commentary. I just love it how he's berating Excalibur, and everybody was the commentators were having so much fun with it, I thought it was so interesting, and I liked the reaction, but there was a moment where 10 kind of almost hurt himself, or I don't know exactly if he messed up on a move. I'm not sure, but he was able to get the job done. But however, here comes -1 with the kendo stick attacking Brian Pillman Jr. Well, he had tried to come out with a lacrosse stick, but come on, he even choked him out of it. I thought it was funny. And of course, -1 stayed in the next match. No, next two matches. The next one was a women's match. Maddie Koski taking on Red Velvet. Now, I have to say on this one, Red Velvet shows a lot of promising on this one. Like, I like her attitude. The way, like Taz always said, you keep stirring things up. Even -1 was impressed with Red Velvet, but not to mention, Excalibur was dumb enough to make a bet with -1. He bet him $5 that Maddie could beat Red Velvet, and he lost. So he told him, I need to go to the ATM. So I thought it was so funny. So I hope Excalibur pays him his $5, or else he's gonna get his butt, whack with the kendo. Now the next match is Sean Maluta versus Danny Limelight. If you guys know or not, I have been following Danny Limelight since 2018. He was very impressive. I have to say, this is one of those matches where we're not sure if he could be ever signed with AEW. I know he's been around the promotion. I feel like AEW should sign him. All this and that. But it was very impressive with him in this match with Danny. So he won this match. Next match, we have Jasmine Allure taking on Ivelisse. I wasn't too much fun with Jasmine Allure in this one because Ivelisse is so, she's amazing. I feel they could have done better with a different opponent. But Ivelisse won this one. The next match, we have Jake St. Patrick taking on Powerhouse Hobbs. You don't need to hear the details. Powerhouse won this match, because he is a powerhouse. That's what he is. So, I think that's it with AEW Dark. So, let's move on to Impact Wrestling. Alright. The last thing we're going to have is Impact Wrestling. Bear with me, I'm still trying to take it easy because I'm sick. But let's start. Now, let me explain to everybody on this one. Not a lot of wrestling, but a lot of interesting story concepts that they put in. I'll explain a little. It starts out with Rich Swann, who he's well aware now he has a target on his back ever since he became Impact World Champion. Now, for me, who understands this, if you won the world title, the prestigious title, no duh, you are a target. But however, he was intending to do something special. On February 3rd, he decided to call out Tommy Dreamer, a guy that he admired, that he looked up to. He even said that he knows that his birthday is coming up on February 13th, which he'll turn 50. That's around the same time where they'll have their next pay-per-view, No Surrender. And Rich Swann decided that he's going to give something back for him, since he was one of those mentors that, gave a chance to guys like Rich Swann to be where he's at right now. He said he plans to give him a title opportunity at No Surrender. However, like I said, the bullseye is up. You had Sami Callihan, Chris Bay, and of course Moose. These are individuals who felt they should be getting their title shot, not Tommy Dreamer. These guys hold Barrett. It's true, all these guys, but Rich Swann has a much bigger, compassionate person than any other of these guys. You look at Moose, who claims he's the real world champion since he took that TNA world title and no one's giving a damn about it. You got Chris Bay, who is the art of finesse, and then you got Sami Callihan, who made Impact what it is. But that's how it's gonna be. But however, they turn into a melee. Here comes what's his name, Willie Mack, to even the score. But however, they were outnumbered with the sudden reappearance of Ken Shamrock. So basically, it was a 4-on-3 type of situation. But however, after it, Rich Swann went to the Scott D'Amore's office to tell him that they demand a match against those individuals. But Scott D'Amore told him, look, I don't got Scott Steiner here, but the way I see it, you guys need a partner. So they said that they found one, and he goes, guys, no need. I found you one. So he opened the door wide open and introduced him to the partner. Rich Swann was like, ah! So it was unclear who was their partner during that time. And it was like a lot of guessing, because I know Impact has done a lot of surprises over the last few months. But I was excited. Now, the next thing we have is what was it? Rohit Raju. Now you guys known him for a while. Rohit Raju somehow weaseled his way to win the X Division Championship. He has been obsessed to try to expose Manic for a while. But he will seem to be talking to someone. Someone that we don't know who he is. So, who could it be? I know it can't be the members of the Hit Squad. I'm assuming it's someone else. I'm assuming it's someone from the Independents. That's my assumption. But this is becoming a very interesting storyline, the way I've seen it. But we'll see how that goes. Now, apparently, as you know, we just crowned the new ever Knockouts Tag Team Champions, consistent of Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz, Fire and Flavor. However, the little fest that they decided to throw out, it's not going so well. Everything they planned was not. And here comes Johnny Swinger with 3 women, and he tells them, those are my ex-wives. And of course, Fire goes, Tasha, I got a really bad idea. So she knew it was a bad idea, but she did it anyway. Now, the next interesting match was still more of a payback match. Tenille Dashwood still wants a piece of Rosemary. As you know, she lost in a mixed tag team match with Caleb with the K against the K. It was a very interesting match, even though Caleb tosses the camera back, they hit Rosemary, but it wasn't enough. But of course, you got to keep an eye on that weasel Caleb with the K. And Crazy Steve had his eyes on him, making sure he doesn't do anything stupid. But yet, Tenille Dashwood still came up short against Rosemary. But however, it appears there is no love lost between Larry D, or as we know him, Lawrence D. Larry is upset. Now, he doesn't blame Taya Valkyrie for what happened to him, so he blames Rosemary because she cast a spell on him, which is true if you guys saw Wrestle House. And he punched Crazy Steve, and Steve was still laughing like, and of course, AC, you're lucky we don't hit women. And once again, we get Fire and Flavor asking for a favor for Swinger and those 3 women there. This is becoming the most ridiculous thing ever. They still are messing up. So they kind of invite them to help them out with the fest. Now we jump into another segment where, as you know, Deonna Purrazzo is happy she got rid of Taya Valkyrie, but she has another thorn in her side, and that is Jordynne Grace and Jazz. Now, for whatever reason, Susan decided to step up, but Jordynne said the magic words, Sue. And they're like, no. So basically, they are trying to stir things up to turn Susan back into Susie. No, Susan into Sue Young, which is the last thing Deonna Purrazzo. If I was Jazz and Jordynne, I would try to find a way to bring that person back. Just to make their lives hell once again. Now we get to the fest. The way it happened, they acted like they think they're all that. They made a lot of promises, but like they're always saying, don't make promises that you can't keep. All of a sudden, they see in the front a Marshmallow Man, the Stay Puft Marshmallow. And there was only one person that dressed like that, and that person is Falaba. Now, he wanted to go, but he didn't have any money. But it turned out to be none other than Navae, and then Havoc showed up, crashed the party. Basically, they want a shot of the title. The ref went to get his refund, but of course they didn't get it. So that's what happened. Now, as you know, we know who's the number one contenders for the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Champions. We're talking about Private Party. Now, Sabian and Storm knows it, that they feel this little feud of theirs is not done, so they decided, they need to take a stand, which is true. So they're going to start planning some things, maybe to go on a title hunt. You got two guys who are specialized in tag team. So I can't wait to see what these two guys are going to do. Now, the next match, we have Joe Dorian versus Cousin Jake. Now, much of the match, I wasn't sure how it's going to go, but I'll tell you how it ends. Joe Dorian won the match. However, they were about to break Cousin Jake's leg, the same way they did with Rhino. But however, something just happened. Eric Young spared him. Now, Diener and Joe are like, what's going on? What are you doing? So Eric Young is trying to invite him to join his little ideology where he says that the world is not theirs, it's ours. So they believe what they believe. So he gave him like a shirt or whatever to join. Now, Diener and Joe don't know what to make of it. But the real question is, will Cousin Jake give in to their ways? We may never know. Now we get to the main event. We have on one corner Moose, Chris Bay, Sami Callihan, and Ken Shamrock taking on Willie Mack, Tommy Dreamer, Rich Swann, and their surprise partner, the return of Trey Miguel. Yes, we haven't seen him since the Rascals disbanded. We all know where the other two went, but Trey is back, but he dyed his hair blonde, and he looks like he hasn't mixed a step. There were some great moments in this match. I did like how this match ended with Trey Miguel winning the match for his team. Even Ken Shamrock couldn't believe it. No, Sammy. But Shamrock snapped and he tried to break the ankle of the ref. So my guess is they're going to target Trey Miguel. If I'm Trey Miguel, run. Or watch your back. Whatever the scenario is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I apologize from the way I talk because I'm still sick. Trying to not get me down. I'll try to recover better than ever. But the next episode will be coming soon. We do got the Wednesday Night War. And soon we'll not have the Wednesday Night War. What else? And there'll be other videos coming out soon. So, I must bid all of you guys adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang!